Hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us for our final weather video of 2019. Cannot believe how fast this year has gone. Before you know it, it will be January 2020. And if television and movies have taught me anything, we get flying cars next year and we get to live on Mars and other things like that. So the future is upon us. But before we get too far down that track, let's just focus on the short-term future and the weather forecast for here. So the weather is actually not looking that flash for the next day or so. We've got a colder change sweeping through, but as we head in towards Christmas, high pressure will be growing. There will be a few showers around, so let's get into it. With the animated wind map today, not hard to miss the southerly flow. Meanwhile, over in Australia, tropical flow through the desert, pushing temperatures up in Adelaide and Melbourne into the mid-40s, and then there is a 20 to 25 degree temperature drop coming for those places on Saturday. Even Tasmania, even Hobart, 33 degrees for Friday, just 17 though on Saturday, and that's because, as you can see, there's a southerly change coming through there. That red line, inside of that is the heat wave, or the very hot weather. So that is trying to stretch to New Zealand on Saturday. The placement of the high and the northwest flow is trying to encourage that, but this storm in the Southern Ocean won't let that happen. So while we might get a little bit of a warming up over the weekend, for the most part, we're getting colder airflows out of the Southern Ocean. Or as I've managed to spin it today, you all get free air conditioning. So that's a positive way of looking at it. Now, meanwhile, over on the eastern side of the North Island, there is a cooler southeasterly, and that will keep your temperatures down with a few showers around on Saturday. By Sunday, those showers mostly clear away, although with this subtropical low just nearby, it does make a little bit, it makes the forecast a little bit 50-50 in some areas like East Cape and Gisborne. Even though for the most part it does look dry with the rain offshore, there's just a chance it might drift back in again. So just keep an eye on your forecast there. The other change is the next surge of cooler air coming through. By the way, you can already see on Sunday that has cut off that warm air out of Australia. So we're not getting that hot air. We're going to get a cooler change. Another one again around the end of Sunday. And as we head into Monday, you'll find again most places around New Zealand have a southerly quarter wind. So the temperatures are down. It might be a bit more east to southeast around eastern areas. A couple of little light drizzly showers potentially popping up. Same story up here in the north with that southerly flow. So we kick off next week mostly dry, but a little cooler. And the temperatures don't really rapidly warm back up again because we don't really have a big change in our airflow. So you'll find on Christmas Eve, there are still southeasterlies and southerlies blowing around the North Island, and in the South Island the winds are a little more variable, but generally speaking a little cooler, with the risk of an isolated shower or two. Otherwise dry. Here is Christmas Day. It does look a little wetter, but I have to explain this is really just two areas with showers in it. High pressure growing down in the lower South Island, but there is a cooler airflow coming in. We're picking that Dunedin will be the coolest main centre with a high of only around 11 to 13 degrees on Christmas Day. Now that might warm up a couple more degrees in the days ahead as we fine tune it, but there is cooler weather with the clouds and a few showers. And in the North Island, the eastern side also cooler with highs in the late teens in places like Hawke's Bay, which have been up into the 30s recently. And these showers will expand and drift across the day. But now that you can see it on the map, it might make a little more sense when you're looking at our 10-day or hourly forecasts at Weather Watch. So just keep that in mind. Overall, it's mostly dry, but those areas with the darker blue colouring, that is the highest risk for showers on Christmas Day. And our final map is for Boxing Day. We've gone a little bit wider to show you what else is coming in. So we do have a few showers around on Boxing Day. It looks like an east to northeast airflow. So it won't be overly cold, it won't be overly hot. It'll be sort of in the middle for that northern area. Further south, it is warming up. Your wind flows will be increasingly coming in from the north, and that will help lift up temperatures again for you on Boxing Day. And there's another big high under Australia here, which should be drifting our way, but there's also this little area of vulnerability, which means we might not have a perfect setup as we head in towards New Year's Eve, which as a forecaster is not a surprise at all. December is often unsettled, and it's really not until January that we often start to get things calming down. But our location on Earth, we jut out into the roaring 40s, so Our weather is always chaotic. That is all from me. Thank you so much for all your support this year. It has been absolutely fantastic. We love seeing our YouTube numbers going up, and the comments you write into us, they're all great. So thank you. Have a great summer. Apologies we don't have videos over summer, but we make up for that by putting more news stories on our webpage and exclusive graphics and infographics. So check out the news side of our homepage at WeatherWatch, and of course the news tab in our app. Have a great summer. We'll see you again in January.